The US is grieving after another horrific school shooting at Robb Elementary in Texas, killing at least 19 children and 2 adults. It echoes similarities to the Sandy Hook massacre almost a decade ago, with little progress on gun reform since. The incident in the town of Uvalde was at the hands of a teenage gunman.
My heart was broken today. We're a small community, and we'll need your prayers to get us through this.
Police say the suspect has been killed and that before the school rampage, he shot his own grandmother, who remains in a critical condition.
Our kids are living in fear every single time they set foot in a classroom because they think they're going to be next.
Now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something?
To lose a child is like having a piece of your soul ripped away. I am sick and tired of it. We have to act. And don't tell me we can't have an impact on this carnage.
Nick Bryant is a former BBC correspondent in New York and Washington and the author of When America Stopped Being Great, A History of the Present. Nick, for an Australian audience, the thing that people always ask at these times is why? Why is there this amount of tragedy and nothing seems to change?
One of the questions, Leigh, that I always got asked is, will this lead to new gun controls? And it was usually a question you could answer with one word: no. The Senate is like a brick wall. And that's partly because so many of these small, rural, red states have just as much representation as these big states that tend to favour gun restrictions. The NRA is such a powerful lobby. But, Leigh, Republicans don't support gun rights because of the NRA anymore. It's because they love and celebrate the gun culture. You have such a problem there because it's become such an article of faith in the conservative movement that people have this right to bear arms. And it was interesting to hear Joe Biden speak there because he didn't even specifically call for new legislation. And I think that's a tacit acknowledgement on his part that he knows it's going to be fiendishly difficult to get through.
Exactly how endemic is gun violence in America, and in particular mass shootings?
Since Sandy Hook almost 10 years ago, there have been 3,500 mass shootings. There was a spike last year of active shooter incidents of 50%. There have been more than 30 school shootings this year alone. 2 mass shootings happen every day in America. I was thinking back to some of the mass shootings I'd covered, and I literally had to Google them, Leigh, today, because getting the chronology right in my head was so difficult because there have been so many. We remember Port Arthur because we vowed it should never happen again. We remember Dunblane in the UK because we vowed it should never happen again. But we have these shootings time after time, and they always happen again.
As I mentioned, you've done 2 stints for the BBC in the US, one in Washington and one in New York. You have 3 young children. How much did the gun culture there contribute to your decision to leave the US and then make a home in Australia?
It was a huge factor. My wife and I always said that when the kids realise why they're doing active shooter drills at school, which is where they turn off the lights and hide under the desks, that would be the time to come home to Australia. My eldest son had been told that they were to prepare for a hurricane. And then he was told later on that they were actually to prepare for a hail of bullets. We had an American daughter while we were in New York, a COVID baby. And we basically made the decision that we should protect our American daughter from America. It was such a big reason why we came home. We lived in a lovely part of New York City, a fairly peaceful part of New York City. But in the 7 years that we lived there, within a mile radius of where we lived, there were 75 shootings. And 25 of those shootings were fatal. I mean, that's how close it came to home. And it was a big reason why we decided to come back to Australia.
Nick Bryant, thank you. Hi, I'm Leigh Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.